Welcome, one and all, to the Portal Hunter Club podcast. I'm your Portal Hunter Club master and commander, Red Fox 1701. We come to you today almost live, and we're here on our next episode talking about, we're talking with Enlightened players. So we have two Enlightened players, Dirty Wartleby and Flame Cranium, graciously came to the studio to talk about some Enlightened. We do a little bit of a back and forth with the Enlightened players. Oh, by the way, our intro music is by the band Moon Rats. They recorded a special song just for me for their, it wasn't just for me, but it's never released audio track from the band Moon Rats. So check them out. They're pretty awesome. They did the intro music. If you're a subscriber, if you're a follower, on Friday, you saw the secret special Friday Hangout show. And basically, I just turned on the live stream and we talked about Ingress for an hour and a half. And it was fun. We had some questions come into the chat. We talked about Ingress Prime. We talked about, what else did we talk about? We talked about Guardians. We talked about, who had, someone had like a 900-day Guardian. Someone had a 700-day Guardian. We talked about Ingress Prime, like what are my thoughts on Ingress Prime? Where do I think things are going with that kind of stuff? We talked about, I got a bike. I got a brand new bike. So I feel like I'm, 10 years old again. And my Ingress friend, Gladys Presley, she has done everything possible in Anomalies except on a car team, except be on a car team. I've done every possible thing except be on a bike team. So I really want to be on a bike team. And I hope one of these Anomalies that I go to accepts me to be on a bike team. So, because it's the one thing I haven't done yet. I've done everything else for Anomalies except be on a bike team. So let's see. So today we have two Enlightened players, as I said, that are local, and we're going to talk a little bit about fields that we've ruined for each other. We talk about Guardians and our thoughts on that kind of stuff. Now that the Guardian medal is gone, people are like, okay, let's do a post-mortem on Guardians. So we give a little bit of that, and we have a little bit of fun banter in between. So without further ado, here is our interview with Dirty Wartleby and Flame Cranium. Our first ever Portal Hunter Club Enlightened interview. Okay, so we have two Enlightened players here. For the first time, I guess I've been kidnapped by the Enlightened. Tell me your agent names.
Dirty Wartleby.
Yes.
Cut my teeth here in the Juliet O2 cell.
Okay.
And,
had many battles.
We've sparred many a time. Pancakes.
Pancakes, Flame Cranium. I straddle two
cells.
cells.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's O2 and
7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank
Hey,
you.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, when they were doing the double AP.
Oh, okay.
I went through Kenosha, and one of my buddies who flipped to your team was coming through and killing behind me. I'm like, this is what I need. Thank you so much.
Nice.
And then as soon as I hit, I got really close. And then I went home and poured a glass of wine and then recharged till I hit 40 million. I started
and then took the shot.
And, yeah. It was a beautiful moment. And then I didn't play for a few minutes.
Yeah, and we've had some battles on the lake. So one of the things is I want to definitely have more Enlightened viewers and interview folks on. And so we had a famous battle on the lake. I'm trying to remember, was that Big Blue Mitten? It was a pretty big field over
big,
Michigan. I think that was Big Blue Mitten.
I don't recall your
There was one
One
in
was
Detroit.
hard to get to.
Yes, there was one in Detroit because I knew that one we were shooting out. And so we were at the Kenosha Lakefront at the lighthouse, and we had a whole crew of like
12 people.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was inoculated, and you show up, and you're like, well, I'm just going to sit here and hang out with you guys, and then that's how Big Blue. So tell me from your perspective.
Okay, so my perspective is a little more traumatic. Because I'm on, and we get what we call your fields is barfs, distance fields.
Okay.
So they're like barf alert. So we got the Google alert goes out. I'm the only. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was
People
late.
are asleep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll go take down. So I throw on some sandals and some jeans, and it was pretty cold then. I figure I'm just gonna go out and kill it and come back. So I walk up on you guys, and I see there's the whole crew. I mean, I think DeGarnier was...
Yes, yeah.
He was probably your anchor captain.
Mm-hmm.
Then Beer Man
yeah.
and starts doing the distraction.
I remember that.
I got
Keep her away. Keep her a distance so
right?
she can't use the bursters.
So I have the microphone in my ear, my people talking to me.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you guys, so when did you inoculate this? Yeah. I don't think anyone was giving me a straight answer, but my people were.
Yeah.
So I know I have to sit there for a while, and because I know I'm not going to be kill it. And besides, it was after checkpoint, so we had to,
right.
And you guys got to get some more layers up, which I'm always for as long as they get their MU. So
badges for everyone,
right? So Beerman's talking to me. And then I find out we get our person in position to throw a blocker as soon as I drop it, and inoculation had already passed. So, in the meantime, you have people still showing up. I'm like, hey, thanks for joining us. Right. And you guys are like,
so you're just waiting for the blocker person,
right?
And of course, Beerman's gonna talk forever,
right? So
he does that to us too.
So I just got the rhythm of and yeah, and as he's talking, boom, I flip it, and then I see the panic in your eyes, and I keep trying to, I want to keep it down so you guys can't link just long enough to get that blocker up, and we finally did it. And then I left, and I think you guys threw it again, and I came and destroyed it again. Or at least you just threw links. I don't think we got the field back up.
Some people wanted their longest link, so that was one of my first ops. I think that I was really a part of. I definitely wasn't as involved as I am now in resistance. So that was just kind of like, hey, we're doing a big thing, we need some help out and everything. That was a fun. And I know we've had a battle. You guys had a field that kind of, so normally because we have Lake Michigan,
I think I might know which one you're talking about.
You like link down the lake and then you field into the suburbs. But this one you had it the other way, where it was like link on the suburbs and then field into the city. And you did Wisconsin.
You're talking about the Wisconsin Avenue field.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was from like Marquette all the way down to the art museum.
Yeah, it was basically like 35th Street, I think, on the west end, all the way down Wisconsin Avenue. And so I can't remember exactly. It was something like 67, like.
It was and
every single portal was inoculated and axed fully.
That was when I was like, I saw you down there, and everyone is panicking because it's like Sunday. Oh no, we
had to clear a massive amount of the city to be able to do it, because normally you try to keep your lanes very tight.
Right, and that's why you use the lake on one side. Exactly. Instead of going into the city, you're going out of the city.
We had a serious like Dorito chip of of a lane that we had to that had to clear. So I mean, we were taking out neighborhoods,
and making people angry.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we get that.
Yeah, we there were a couple of guardians that took some friendly fire.
Now we don't have to worry about that anymore.
That is true.
So my perspective on that is, I remember this was when I was living in a different apartment, and I saw Urban Illuminati and Urban Cashmere. They sort of came through the area and they hit a bunch of stuff, but I was like, oh, you know, they're just here in town because they kind of lived nearby, and so I was like, oh, they're just doing their thing. But I didn't bother to look at the intel map and realize that they had virused everything. So I was just getting the alerts that they were blowing stuff up, and I didn't realize that they were inoculating all this stuff because one of the things went like right over my apartment. And I was like looking and people are freaking out, and I'm like still in bed. I was like, oh, they're just doing whatever. And no, you need to get out there. Everyone needs to get out there now. And Beer Man's panicking and everyone's panicking. And so luckily I think we had farmed really recently, so I was like fully stocked, and I remember racing down to Wisconsin Avenue because I'm like, okay, we got to get something and have like one person hopefully do a blocker. So I'm going there. I think I started on one end, and I had all my viruses. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna take out there, you know, just like these guys don't know what they're doing and all this stuff. And so I started driving, and it was like the 6th or 7th, and I was like, no. I just kept inoculated or immune, and I was like, no. And they were all AXA. I remember I used every single bomb in my inventory. It was ridiculous. I had like 500 bombs. I used all my bombs. I think we all used pretty much every bomb we had just to take that out. It was that was a very intense.
And you want to know something funny about that field is our operator overslept by 45 minutes. So for the first 45 minutes of the hop, we were running blind.
Wow. But I guess you had everything planned out ahead of time, so you kind of knew. But again, and luckily we were slow to react. We're just like, oh, they're just, you know, tooling through the neighborhood. And
why are there 37 people out?
Right, yeah.
Jarvising and clearing out entire neighborhoods.
Well, and usually because it's a tight lane, you can see the line of people. But if you're clearing huge swaths of like downtown and everything, it just looks like normal play where everyone's around, and you couldn't really tell from the map what was. And that's pretty impressive, like I said, because normally you just do one link across the lake and field out, but this one you guys fielded into the city, which, like you said, you had to make a huge wide lane. Yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah, we figured that one would kind of catch you off guard as to, you know, like.
Right, yeah. It wasn't anything out of the typical playbook. You know, it's like because both teams kind of have those portals that you normally use for anchors or nearby or whatever, and this was like completely out of the playbook. We had no idea. Yeah. So you said you had taken out a bunch of guardians in that process. Now I know you have taken out at least one of my guardians at one point.
To my knowledge, I've only taken out 2 guardians ever. Okay. One of them was yours. And it was actually one of them that you were referring to in your inaugural episode, the one up in Cedarburg, the brewery.
Yeah.
And but we were not hunting.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I was in Cedarburg for a very specific purpose because it was a few places that I could go. Knew that every single portal that I touched would get me what was necessary for what I needed for badges.
Okay, yeah.
And on that day, I within 5 portals.
Oh wow! Nice. So you had planned out a trip in Cedarburg to like, if I take out these ones.
If I take out, well, I mean, we were just zip coding the whole Cedarburg,
right, yeah.
Just because I needed, and I was able to time it relatively close to. I was hoping to do it on the same portal, you know, to go to 11 to 14. But it did almost there, within 5.
Well, I'm honored that my guardian was a part of that thing.
Where your guardian was, and it was just a smidge off the beaten path. But since we were looking for any portal to get, it target list. But there was 2 portals. There's one kitty corner across the street from us. So what we were doing, we parked halfway in between so that our bursters would get as possible when you're having to take out some Cedarburg.
Right, yeah.
So, but we were like smashing it, and the one just went down, you know, lickety split. There was 3 of us, you know, because Babs and Oscar were there too. So,
oh right, yeah.
But then we're like, this other one is just not going down. And we're like, okay, well, let's turn around. We'll go and sit right on top. And even so, with 3 of us, it still took us about 5 minutes to get down. I don't know how many people.
So right, because so there was at least Dan and Crystal, and I think a couple of others that they wanted to help me get my Guardian, and so I just distributed keys, and I knew where it was because there's a trick you can use Google location history.
Yep, I do the same thing.
And so it's like you back calculate however many days, and I was like, well, it's in Cedarburg somewhere, so I'm just gonna keep and like looked in the portals in Cedarburg which ones I owned, and there were like 4 or 5 of them, and then eventually they down and down. I think that was one of the last ones before the one I actually got mine on. But yeah, that was and like you said, that one was just off the beaten path where if you're blowing everything up in Cedarburg, you can leave like
and
1 or 2 rezos.
And it was on a dead end street.
Right. So
but
you're
it's
like,
a
well,
brewery.
I'm just gonna
I mean,
so yeah, I don't know. It was, like I said, absolutely no hunting going on. But we wouldn't have even known really unless until you said something after we took it down, and then subsequently, over the next 2 days, I think you took out every single.
yeah, because they were in Glendale, and I worked down there at the time, and so it was just like, yeah, I gotta go.
Gotta get it
seek
out of your
revenge.
system.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Oh yeah, that was a fun time. I think City Girl took out a bunch. I mean, she would come through Cedarburg regularly, and
well, she's like a steamroller.
Right.
She comes through and she just takes out everything.
And what's his name? Who lived up there? Urban Stellan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would visit my parents and make everything blue, and then like slowly throughout the week he would take everything back, and then I'd come through and he's like, oh, visiting the folks again, and so he'd let me do my thing, and then he'd take it all back, and that was Cedarburg's a fun. There's one, because I'm from the area, there's places I know that are portals, and oh, you're hunting. It's like, no, I'm from the area. I know there's a little, the covered bridge or whatever out there. And so it's like, I think that's where a lot of the stress from the Guardian hunting came from, is it was hard to distinguish what was hunting and what was just like generally people knowing the area. Like I said, I grew up in Ozaki County. I know all the little secret places and the parks and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You got the Lion's Den and all that. Like I knew about that, and I thought that could be a good Guardian candidate. And I think someone found that one.
2 portals added.
Oh yeah, I think both of us have fielded off that.
Oh, there's been lots of fields off of it.
Right, because I was like, oh, here's something that nobody knows about. It's a secret park, and then of course, the irony of me saying this now is like, someone else knows about these, these places, and it's not always necessarily hunting. It's either someone is on a tear trying to get badges, or they just generally know the area better than you think they do, or all that kind of stuff.
Or you just come across things by accident just because you're in a place.
Right.
So
there's that. Oh, and fields, like large fields. So when we did Unite 16, I was doing intel for that, and I was doing the lane over Minnesota, and it's going through all these rural areas, and so you're like, mark that one, mark that one, mark that, and it's like you find all these random portals as you're doing these, mega fields and giga fields. So sometimes it's just bad luck where it's like we just happen to go right over where your Guardian is, and you're linking like Canada to Mexico, and like unfortunately your portal is right on that lane, so it's in the middle of nowhere, but it just happened to be of significance on that day.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. So yeah, well, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, yeah,
having us by and have social.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll have more Enlightened on in the future. I know stuff and the anomalies too. Do anomaly broadcasts.
That's right. Answer the bell.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Philly.
Oh, that's a. I was wondering if you guys were gonna wear Ingress shirts. I realized they didn't end up wearing one. That's cool. That's good. Yeah. And you got your Milwaukee Persistence on.
Yeah.
Right?
Speaking of anomalies, I think it was really funny that when we were in Maryland, y'all's the spot where you guys ended up staying was literally a half a block from the spot that we were, because it wasn't a matter of like, like our hotels were a half a block from each other. We had like, like bed and like not bed and breakfast, but like a B2B or whatever,
right, yeah,
and some type of thing. And we were literally, and we turned around, we parked. That's beer, man.
In New Orleans.
Right, you're like,
can't get away from it.
Right there.
Right. You're like, I'm gonna have my portal. I'm gonna be able to farm. We're all here, and yeah, sure enough, we're like, yeah.
So on Sunday we dropped all our keys all the way around your place.
I remember that, yeah, because I was like, what is going on? That's another thing too, is dropping keys from other places, and you're like, oh, did they leave something here, or just to mess with people? Yeah. New Orleans, that was a good time. I really liked that.
That was a lot of fun.
It was stressful, and I think so you guys won, I think, pretty well for that one.
That was the one where we took the city, but we lost the whole thing because you guys got the shard in.
Right, and what happened was I was in a car team with Susie, Anyways, I was on a car team with Susie, and we're driving around, and all of a sudden, I think Pewski was doing intel for us, and he sends me a screenshot of the shards, and then immediately like the lockdown of everything in the area, and I told Susie, I'm like, oh my god, we just won. The shards happened. Oh my god, the shards. And she's like, what? We won? Because we were like struggling to keep some of these
point value
portals.
on those things were just insane.
And yeah, and the axes and everything were just crazy. And but yeah, and she almost went through a red light. And when I told her, she's like, what? We won? And I was like, oh, still drive, please. You're driving this car. So yeah, so. Well, anyways, thanks for coming on the show. And,
right on. Congrats on the show. This is very cool.
Yeah,
I think that it's a good thing to get a very local.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, and we'll see you again pretty soon.
Sounds good.
So there you have it, our first ever Enlightened interview. I hope to have more Enlightened players on in the future. Okay, so what do we have coming up? We have, let's see, we're going to be talking about Camp Navarro. Camp Navarro is important, and Camp Schloss Kaltenberg is also in the same day. That's the German one. Navarro is the American one. They're two awesome events, and they're hard to describe, obviously, in the couple minutes we have left today. So we're going to be talking with some Navarro teams about their projects and things that they have coming up. I'm really excited for that. If you're unfamiliar with a Navarro Magnus event, you'll definitely want to tune in, because it's I don't want to say life-changing. It's not life-changing, but it's like, it's something completely different, like out of the blue, ingress-wise. You got art, you got tech, you have ingress, you have a field. You have a field of event that, it's something that's never, I don't know, I really liked going. It was a roller coaster of emotions with the anomaly they had going on. The projects there were just so amazing. So I'm excited to talk with some of the teams that are doing their anomaly, or their Navarro and their Schloss Kaltenberg. I keep saying that slowly because I always mispronounce it. Their projects. What else is coming up? Ingress Olympiad. So we have a local player that was in the Ingress Olympiad last year that I'm trying to get on the show. We'll talk about Ingress Olympiad. What is that? What's cool about it? If people are interested, they'll be able to see the show and understand what goes on and how it works and everything, and see if they want to go or watch the live broadcast. So Niantic is gonna live broadcast the Ingress Olympiad again, and that was fun. I mean, it's a cool thing to watch. They have camera guy following people around. They have announcers and everything talking about the events. And last year is when they announced the Edo N transmuters. So who knows what's going to happen this year at the Ingress Olympiad? I don't know. But last year there was a new item, so who knows what's going to happen this year. The other thing that's coming up on May 5th is the Bake Anomaly. So the Portal Hunter Club show is going to televise the Bake Anomaly. Something that's never been done before, really. I guess maybe kind of they did this for 13 Magnus way back in 2012, but not like this. We're going to live stream. So, you know, picture like your favorite sporting event, football or European football, as I call it, you know, because American football, get it? Okay. Anyway, we're going to be live broadcasting, televising the Bake Anomaly. So we're going to do a pre-show, talk about the rules, what goes on at this game. We're going to show the map. We're going to do the whole, you know, like I'm John Madden, I'm going to draw circles on things. And then we're going to do the after interview with the coaches, you know, where it's like, yeah, we did awesome and these players are awesome. Or, oh, you know, we didn't do well today. We got stuff to work on. You know, so we're going to have the whole spectrum of a sporting event, but it's going to be an Ingress live stream. So I'm really excited for that. That's going to be awesome because in the future, we're going to have, we will have Anomaly POCs talking about their towns. People are getting really excited for anomalies coming up, and you want to know what's cool about these towns that you're going to go to. So the anomaly points of contact are going to be talking about their towns and what's cool about them. We're also going to be live broadcasting anomalies. We're going to do day-long streams of, you know, scoring and all that kind of stuff. So Portal Hunter Club, this is your place. No, there's no other show, now that the Ingress report is gone, there's no other show that tells you what's going on in Ingress. This is your show. So if you're Resistance, if you're Enlightened, tell your locals, tell your friends, spread this around. This is the place to be to know what's happening in Ingress. So look forward to seeing you all in a future meeting of the Portal Hunter Club. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.